welcome. My name's Jane. I'm the creative director at Cheshire Dance.
And I'm Josie. I'm the Dance Development Artist at Cheshire Dance.
And this information session is about the Dance Development Artist role that is being advertised currently. And what we plan to do with the session is to introduce Cheshire Dance kind of from a lived experience perspective. So what we're not going to do is kind of go through the job pack with the job description and the person specification, because that's all available and it's out there and there's lots of information on our website. But what we are aware of is sometimes kind of what's missing is how it actually maybe feels to be part of an organisation and kind of really how a role feels when you're in it. So and maybe kind of questions about things kind of, we know that there's common questions arise, but then maybe those of you that are here now or people watching the recording, maybe you've got other questions and hopefully we can answer those today.
So feel free to use the chat function, and that might be to ask questions, or it might, if you don't understand anything, to repeat it. If you want anything said in a different way, we can try our best. So yeah, feel free to use the chat function.
So Cheshire Dance we're a small organisation, but we do a lot. We are one of Arts Council of England's national portfolio organisations, and we're actually only one of only 3 dance organisations that are supported by Arts Council's national portfolio scheme in the Northwest. So as well as kind of our really important work in Cheshire, we're really aware of our kind of position in the Northwest and really developing and supporting that and supporting dance as an art form to kind of grow and thrive and to support all the artists that do that work. We are an organisation that really values everybody that works in it. So kind of everybody is really on the same page and working towards Cheshire Dance's kind of aims and strategic goals and our vision, but then equally we really value everybody's kind of individual voice and perspective and what they bring, so we really try and work with a lot of flexibility and trust. I'm just going to double check because I think there's somebody kind of waiting to come in the yeah, done that. Yeah, so we really want to work with flexibility and with trust, and we really encourage people to bring bring themselves, their practice, their opinions, their ideas to Cheshire Dance, and support kind of each team member to develop in the way that they want to as well in the role.
Great. So we thought it might be useful for you to hear from me about what a week might look like, and so the role is advertised as I work, which is 4 days a week, and those days are set, but there is flexibility. So generally I work Monday to Thursdays, for example, but I'll talk a bit more about that later. So generally my Mondays are more of an administrative day, so I might often do that from home, unless there's a project that I might be visiting or attending, and yes, so that's Mondays. So that's mainly kind of computer based, on the telephone, talking with partners, for example. On Tuesdays, well, today we're here at Story House because we've had introduction to Dance and Disability CPD Day for artists. So today's a special Tuesday because we've been hosting that and I've been supporting that. But mainly on Tuesdays, I'm based in Winsford, where our office is, and I'll be working from the office in the afternoon. I usually start a bit late on a Tuesday because I'm teaching on a Tuesday evening. So I facilitate one of our DS dance groups for people with Down syndrome, and then I support with the Spotlight project, which is a youth project we run in Winsford. So my Tuesdays are later evenings usually. On a Wednesday, we generally have a team meeting, which again we'll talk about later. And on Wednesday afternoons, it's usually meetings with the team or other things that are arising. And then Thursdays, again, often that might be, I might work from home, or I might be out and about delivering on projects. So Thursdays can be quite changeable.
We normally have a kind of creative team check-in or on a Thursday.
Great, yeah. So I'll check in with Jane each week, and sometimes with Emma, who's the other part of the creative team. So that is a typical week, but I think what's really important to say is that could change quite a lot, and it does change all of the time. So it is very flexible to the role and also to what my needs are as well.
Great. So we've kind of come up with some frequently asked questions. I'm not sure they're frequently asked, but some questions that we thought might arise when you are reading through the job spec and going, just little things that might pop up, because of course, all the core information is in there, but maybe there's kind of more nuanced things that you're interested in. So the first one Josie's going to talk to, and that question is, what is the balance between practical dance delivery and project management in this role?
So yeah, across the creative team, the three of us, we're all practicing dance artists, and we all are really passionate about that and our facilitation practices. So it's really important to me that that's, and is to Cheshire Dance, that we're able to nurture that. So practical dance delivery, I think what's really important to say is that there's absolutely space for you to curate that. As you get to know the role, you'll start to understand what the demands are of the programme and the administrative and project management aspects of the role. So perhaps at first it's good not to take on lots of delivery, so that you're kind of working out what that is. But I have regular sessions that I have delivered for some time, and still do that for Cheshire Dance as part of my role. And then also, as projects are developed or emerging projects, there might be a kind of particular passion or area of interest that I'm interested in, so that I'm keen to develop and facilitate. And on other projects, it might be that I start a project off if we're not really sure how the project's going to work, how sustainable it is, for example. So I might take on the delivery at first, and then I'm able to work with perhaps a supporting artist or another artist. We can maybe co-deliver for a while, and then we can pass the project on to them. So just checking that I've covered everything we said. Yes, and there are we have a large team of freelance artists that this role supports, but if cover is needed for regular sessions, often I will step in for cover, if I'm able to, and if that feels like I've got the capacity to do it. But I think what's really valuable to me in this role is that there's real reflection around that and my capacity. And for example, my changing needs, for example, I'm pregnant now. So Jane's asking me, are you sure, is this delivery all okay? Are there things that we need to adapt or change? Do we want another artist to take on some sessions? So I think nothing's set in stone, and it's really about you, your interests, what your capacity is.
Hey, Josie's going to take the next question as well. We did kind of put some specifics around maybe what days of the week people would be expected to work as part of the role. So this question is, if I'm not available Tuesday evenings and Wednesdays, which were stipulated in the job pack, should I still apply?
Great. So I think Wednesday mornings are really crucial. That's our team meeting time. It's when we're all together and all of the team try to ring fence that time. Often one person might not be able to be there, but the goal is that we are all there together, and that would be quite difficult to change because there's a number of people who would have to change that. So I think Wednesday mornings would be a real sticking point. Tuesday evenings, that's really ideal, and it would make a lot of sense, and it would be kind of really valuable, I think, for the dance development artists to be able to be available on Tuesday evenings. But please don't let that be a barrier for you to apply. We may look, it could be negotiated, basically. Yeah. So the next question is for Jane. It says, I don't yet have 3 years of teaching experience. Can I still apply?
Yeah. So yes, absolutely, you can still apply. But that 3 years, that teaching experience is part of the criteria that we have developed, which is kind of the ideal for the role. So it it will, and it might will impact our decision making. So it might be that lots of people apply who don't have yet 3 years experience, or it might be that people with lots of experience apply. So I think it might be an important factor in the decision making. But we can't know that until when people have already applied. So so please do feel free to apply, even if you haven't quite got that much experience yet.
Great. And do I need to have a particular specialism in my practice?
No, you don't. We're not looking for a particular specialism. You are your own person as an artist and have your own creative practice, and that's really important to how you will work. And we're really interested in hearing from people with different experience, different skills, and experience of different practices. So there's nothing specific that we're looking for. At the moment, in the core artistic team, we've got artists who lead on our work with young people, and lead on our work with people with learning disabilities, and on our work kind of around dance and health. And we're really happy to support the dance development artists to develop their skills, their knowledge, their practice in whatever area it is that they are interested in. So, we really welcome people coming with an expertise and a practice, but equally we really welcome people coming who maybe have a kind of a breadth and aren't sure yet where they would like to, or if they would like to kind of focus on one area. So we're really open to that, I think.
Great. So the next question is, who will support me, and how does the dance development artist work within the team?
So the dance development artist is part of the Cheshire Dance core team. So we are a core team, I think at the moment, of 7, and 3 of those are the kind of the artistic team. And so the dance development artist, our Nexus program manager, who looks after a huge chunk of our young people's work, and then myself. The dance development artist is also really connected across all the team, really, in all the different roles. So the person who's the dance development artist works really closely with our administrator in kind of making sure the regular program runs smoothly, and that contracts are issued, and that that all of that runs really smoothly. They'll also work really closely with our digital marketing officer, again around making sure that the program is kind of is out there and is being taken care of and marketed. And then they'll work closely with the rest of the team as well around project development, practice development, maybe linking in around fundraising for certain things, and kind of what the strategic priorities might be. So I think it's got a lot of autonomy, but it's also really connected in with the rest of the core team. So the creative director, that's my role. I'm the line manager for the dance development artist. So the way that works at the moment is that we have weekly check-ins, which for us at the moment are on a Thursday, but that's completely flexible. So myself and Josie work really closely together, and I'm there to kind of support around kind of decision making questions, prioritizing, celebrating, dealing with sticky bits, supporting project development with partners, that cover that, I think.
And me supporting me very
and then as a creative team, we meet kind of monthly. We have a chunkier meet monthly where we might be looking at a more kind of in-depth topic, area of work that we're developing, element of the program, maybe something around practice, or so we kind of try and take that time once a month to kind of delve deeply into that together. In terms of kind of support coming into this role as kind of a maternity cover role, you will have a month handover time with Josie, so kind of as she's going going off on maternity leave, you already arrive in advance. So that's a month to kind of work together and cross over and learn about the role and meet the partners and kind of integrate into the team. And we've also built that in for the end of the fixed term contract as well. So that's another kind of month handover towards the end where we can kind of hand back over and I'm doing this gesture with my hand. The other kind of connections and support you would connect to in the role is this dance development artist role is strongly supported by and funded by as well Cheshire West and Chester Council, so who are a really key partner for us and a funding partner as well. So we have quarterly meetings with Cheshire West and Chester Council, kind of where we update on the programme, where we check in on like strategic priorities and on things that might concern be coming up for us as partners, opportunities, challenges, and the council arts team are really supportive of the dance development artist's role and work, and kind of really offer kind of lots of practical support as well, of kind of maybe connections or people to contact and that kind of thing as well. And they're really experienced. And we kind of there's also an invitation to participate in their monthly team meetings as well. And kind of we're in a position right now where all of the creative team, the three of us, we've all done the dance development artist role at one point or another in the past. So there's kind of lived kind of understanding and support available there as well, but also like real desire to let the post holder really kind of run with that and have their own autonomy and ideas and thoughts on that. But lots of support available.
Okay, so Jane, one for you. Is Cheshire Dance an accessible organisation to work for, and what access support is available?
So this is something that is really important to us at Cheshire Dance, and that we kind of constantly kind of trying to develop our practice and understanding around. And we've kind of checked in and kind of with the team. We're doing that kind of on a rolling basis, but around is Cheshire Dance an accessible and inclusive place to work, and what makes it that way. And I think one of the key things is that we really support flexible working. So people that work for the organisation who might have caring responsibilities, who might be living with long-term health conditions, have said that flexible, that really truly flexible working is really supportive in terms of access. We really value kind of people trying to find that work-life balance, and like taking care of people as whole people, not just as people who work for Cheshire Dance. So as Josie talked through when she was talking through the kind of a week in the life of, working from home is always an option, kind of being flexible around your timings, that to make that suit you is all really possible as well. And I think what's really important to that is trust. So we have a culture in our team that we trust that everybody that works with Cheshire Dance really cares about Cheshire Dance. We all really care about the work that Cheshire Dance does, and we care about the participants and the artists, and kind of believe in Cheshire Dance, and therefore there's a trust that we will all do our best for Cheshire Dance. And and so if people need to shift hours around, work from home, we can do that because we trust that they're always doing the best that they can for Cheshire Dance. We value kind of diversity of thoughts and ideas and experience. I think we can get quite lively in that sharing of those ideas and experience, and really encourage everyone in the team to speak what feels important to them or from their experience and contribute. And that's how we kind of have a richer discussion and come to outcomes that are richer, I guess. Something that we've been working with is something called the Manual of Me. which is a tool to help each person as an individual kind of express how they best work, how they like to work, the environment, how they like to communicate, basically what helps support them to kind of to be able to show up in the best way that they can at work. And kind of at the moment, the whole team we're on a bit of a journey with exploring how we can really put wellbeing at the heart of Cheshire Dance. And how we can make that even more integral to how we work. So you would be joining a team that is on that journey. In terms of the application process and access, there's different methods of applying. So you are welcome to write your responses to the application form, or you could speak those responses and record that, or you might want to do a video recording. So they're all options. Little dandelion fluff, and encourage people to do whichever they think, whichever helps them express themselves in the best way and the clearest way. We can support access needs in terms of your interview. So if you're invited to an interview, we'll ask about access needs for the interview, because we really want to see the best of people. That's really important to us. For us, an interview is not about tricking or challenging, or it's really about wanting to see the best of the people that we're interviewing. See them at their best. And then we would work, I'm just thinking actually just back to that, we also share the interview questions and the task and everything prior to the interview. So you absolutely have time to prepare, and you can bring those notes and things with you into the interview. Then the person that becomes the post holder, the dance development artist, we would work with them to make sure that their access needs are met. We'd work through the manual of me, and if someone needed to or wanted to, we could work with them around the government's access to work scheme as well. Our office is based in Winsford Library, and that is a kind of physically accessible building as well. And as a team, we kind of try and work with the office that it's an accessible space. So kind of in terms of lighting, yes, got a lot of lamps to avoid the strip lighting in the office. But we're always open to that as well. Okay, so the next question Josie's going to answer, and that is about is there space for the post holder to keep their freelance work or some freelance work alongside this role?
Yeah, and I also thought this could be another role that isn't freelance. It could be other work alongside it.
So other work, yes.
The role is 4 days a week, as I said, and I am a freelance artist alongside that role, so work with lots of organisations. So the first answer is yes, absolutely. As I've said, I try and keep my days set to an extent. This is really helpful for the rest of the team in terms of me taking on certain responsibilities, but there absolutely is flexibility within that. We work with the toil system, and that's, as we've said, that's you have complete agency over that. You're not asked to input your days and times in terms of what you've done or report that in any way.
Might be worth just saying what toil stands for.
Time off in lieu. Yes, I had no idea before I started the role about such words.
Weird acronym.
So that means that if, for example, I work an extra day because that's what the role demands in a week, I can choose to take that day at any other point throughout. Or if I work a particularly long day, there might be a few hours additional, so I'll make a note of that, and then I might take them off. Equally, if I find that amazingly there's not too much to do that day, or that I need a shorter day for my well-being, equally that's absolutely fine, and I'll make those hours up at another point. Again, that's based on trust, and I think with the freelance work it's really important that there's an awareness and sensitivity about looking after yourself. It's a really demanding role, and it can pull you in many directions, and if you're then adding in freelance work every evening teaching and on all day on your day off, I'd say that you probably aren't going to be your best for your role. So there's a trust element, and looking after yourself is paramount. I think the freelance or other work is absolutely encouraged outside of the role, or you might just work 4 days and that'd be great too. But you know, my practice outside of the role and the different areas that I work in absolutely nourish the programme, and I can feed that back in, and vice versa. So I think, yeah, it's really encouraged with care. So last question that we have proposed, what will happen on the interview day, Jane?
Yes, so the interview day is going to take place at a school in Chester, and they are hosting the interviews for the day. So in the morning, people that are invited to interview will be asked to deliver a 30-minute cross-curricular dance session with a class from the primary school where we'll be hosted, and they've given us some great themes for those cross-curricular dance sessions. So if you're invited to interview, you'll know the class that you're working with, you'll know the age of the class, the key stage of the class, and you'll know what your theme is as well. And well, yes, you'll be asked to deliver a 30-minute session. And we're really aware that that is that's fast. And in an ideal world with a class, you'd have longer. So yes, we'll kind of encourage people to show what you can in that time, but we understand that it's and
you don't need to deliver an hour session that time. You can just select a couple of.
Yes, you don't need to squeeze a whole hour into that time. And then in the afternoon, you'd have a 1 hour kind of interview, and that will be with myself and with Josie, and with one of our lovely colleagues from Cheshire West and Chester Council. That will also take place in the school, and you'll get the questions for that in advance, and you're welcome to bring notes into that as well. So if you are invited to interview, you will be needed in the morning and the afternoon. So it's Wednesday the 25th of June, I think is the date, and so you will kind of need to be available on that day. Unfortunately, we aren't able, in the context of this interview, to offer a backup day with the logistics of needing to see practical delivery, because it's so important to the role. We do need people to be available for the interviews on that day. Great. I think those were all the questions that we came up with. I wonder if those of you that are here now, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, either in the chat or you'd like to speak to, you're very welcome to. While you're thinking about that, maybe just to say to the people that are watching this as a recording, if there are any other questions that you have kind of after you've watched this, you can contact us on the email that is on all the information, and we'll do our best to get back to those questions.
Great. So there's a couple of questions in the chat. Thank you. The first is, are you looking for someone already based in the area or open to other locations within the UK?
Yeah, great question. Should I start on that one? I guess no. I mean, we're open to people applying, I guess, wherever you may be, but with the caveat that I think in order to do the role, you do need to spend time in the borough in Cheshire. So 2 days a week at kind of, I would say, minimum, you would need to be in Cheshire. So that would need to be possible for you, whether you were wherever you were living. So it isn't a role that you could do completely remotely from somewhere else in the country. So yeah, I guess you would either have to move or commute, or be creative about how you would work with that. But if you are open to the possibility of that, then absolutely. You don't already need to live here. You don't need prior knowledge of this area.
It could be useful, but of course it's not necessarily.
No.
Yeah. And I think, if you were commuting, again, there would be flexible. There has to be the role is flexible, and it does have to respond to what's happening. So you know, and that works both ways. So you could need flexibility from that, but you would also have to be flexible around that.
Great. The next question is, are there specific communities or age groups you're hoping to reach more through this role?
Well, again, I think this would definitely be part of a conversation. It'd be a great conversation to be having in our handover. At the moment, generally, and this is general because it's wider than this, we generally work with children and young people, people with disabilities and older adults. That's kind of our three areas, but the work is very responsive, and if partners are interested in commissioning work together or developing projects for specific communities, or if the dance development artist has a particular community they're really interested in developing the work with and for, then we would be open to that. Within this year's maternity, of course, the work does have to fit into the Cheshire Dance strategy, which so there's lots of flexibility there, but it would be about consultation with the team and about understanding. So I think the question is no, not specifically, but if there was a particular area of interest, that would be absolutely welcomed to be in conversation with.
And I think it's that combination, like Josie said, of yes, please come with your practice and your ideas, and we're really open and welcoming to that. And then what that will meet is the strategic aims of Cheshire Dance, the capacity of Cheshire Dance, and also those of partners, which might be Cheshire West Council or Arts Council. So I think it's some things get kind of fast-tracked as ideas because particular strategies come even from the government or different places, and particular funding emerges, and some things kind of are maybe slower burners, with kind of little seeds get planted and then eventually they grow. I'm just going to pause a moment because I think another question is being typed. Just a moment for that to come. Great. Okay. So if there's no more questions from those of you who are here now, then yes, just a reminder to people that are watching at home that you can, if you have specific questions, you can contact us and we'll do our best to respond. We just thought, just to finish, it might be a good idea just to kind of go through then the kind of next steps in terms of dates. So the deadline for applying for this role is Friday the 6th of June at 6 p.m. So it's, hopefully plenty of time to do that application. We will then go through a shortlisting process, and we will notify you whether you have been invited for an interview, and we'll do that by the 13th of June. And we always aim to get in touch with everyone. So whether you have been invited to an interview or not, you will receive, we will receive an email from us that tells you either way. So you should get that by the 13th of June. Then the interview day that we described earlier takes place on Wednesday, the 25th of June. And then the kind of ideal start date that we're looking at is the 4th of August. Anything? Great. Well, thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to receiving applications. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.